The Mysterious Disappearance of Brian Shaffer. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel where we dive deep into the most perplexing and chilling true crime stories. Today, we're tackling a case that has baffled investigators, haunted friends and family, and captivated the imaginations of amateur sleuths everywhere. This is the mysterious disappearance of Brian Shaffer, a night out gone wrong. This story is filled with twists, turns, and unanswered questions. So get comfortable because this is going to be a deep dive into one of the most puzzling disappearances in recent history. Brian Shaffer was a 27-year-old medical student at Ohio State University, a bright young man with a promising future ahead of him. Born on February 25, 1979, Brian grew up in Pickerington, Ohio, a suburb of Columbus. He was known for his charismatic personality, good looks, and a passion for music. In fact, one of his dreams was to start a band and tour the country. He had a close-knit family, including his father, Randy, his mother, Renee, and his younger brother, Derek. In March 2006, Brian was in his second year of medical school and was dealing with the recent death of his mother, Renee, who had passed away from a rare form of bone cancer. Despite this personal tragedy, Brian seemed to be handling things well. He was in a serious relationship with his girlfriend, Alexis Wagoner, also a medical student, and they were planning a vacation to Miami to celebrate spring break. On the night of March 31st, 2006, Brian decided to take a break from studying and go out for a night on the town with his friend William Clint Florence. They planned to bar hop along the Arena District in Columbus, starting at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, a popular bar near the Ohio State campus. The evening began with Brian and Clint having dinner and drinks, eventually meeting up with Clint's friend Meredith Reed. Around 9 p.m., the trio headed to the Ugly Tuna Saloon. The bar was bustling with activity, filled with students and locals enjoying the start of the weekend. Surveillance footage from the bar shows Brian, Clint, and Meredith riding an escalator to the bar's second floor entrance around 9:15 p.m. Over the next few hours, they continued to drink and mingle. According to witnesses, Brian seemed to be in good spirits, although some noted that he appeared a bit tired. At 1:55 am, the bar's closing time, Brian was seen on surveillance footage outside the bar talking to two women. He then re-entered the bar, and this is where the mystery deepens. Despite multiple surveillance cameras covering all exits of the bar, there is no footage of Brian leaving. He simply vanished. When Brian didn't return home the next day and missed his flight to Miami, his family and friends knew something was terribly wrong. Randy Shaffer reported his son missing, and the Columbus Police Department launched an investigation. The search began at the Ugly Tuna Saloon, where detectives meticulously reviewed the surveillance footage. They confirmed that Brian entered the bar, but there was no evidence of him leaving. Police expanded their search to include the surrounding area, examining nearby bars, restaurants, and construction sites. They even searched the Olentangy River but found no trace of Brian. Flyers were posted around the city, and Brian's face was plastered on local news stations, but tips and leads were few and far between. As the investigation dragged on, several theories emerged about what might have happened to Brian Shaffer. Let's explore some of the most compelling possibilities. The accident theory. Some believe that Brian may have had an accident while leaving the bar. The Ugly Tuna Saloon was located in an area undergoing significant construction, and there were several dangerous areas nearby, including a construction site with open pits and heavy machinery. Could Brian have stumbled into one of these sites and suffered a fatal accident? While this theory seems plausible, no evidence has been found to support it. The foul play theory. Another theory is that Brian fell victim to foul play. Perhaps he was attacked or abducted after leaving the bar. However, this theory raises more questions than answers. Why would someone target Brian, and how did they manage to do so without being captured on any of the surveillance cameras? Additionally, there were no signs of a struggle, and Brian's body was never found. the voluntary disappearance theory. One of the most controversial theories is that Brian chose to disappear. Some speculate that the pressure of medical school, combined with the grief of losing his mother, might have led Brian to stage his own disappearance. Could he have used his knowledge and resources to create a new identity and start a new life somewhere else? While intriguing, this theory lacks concrete evidence and is difficult to prove or disprove. The Clint Florence theory. A more specific version of the foul play theory involves Brian's friend Clint Florence. Clint was reportedly uncooperative with police and refused to take a polygraph test. This raised suspicion among investigators and the public. Could Clint have known more about Brian's disappearance than he let on? Despite these suspicions, no evidence has linked Clint to any wrongdoing. Now, let's consider a fresh angle on Brian Shaffer's disappearance. What if the key to solving this mystery lies not in the events of that night, but in Brian's state of mind leading up to it? In the weeks before his disappearance, Brian had been coping with the death of his mother and the demands of medical school. He was also contemplating significant life changes, including his relationship with Alexis and his career path. Could Brian have been experiencing a crisis that drove him to make an impulsive decision? Moreover, let's think about the timing. Brian disappeared on the last night of March, just before the start of a new month and a planned vacation. This could suggest a desire for a clean break or a symbolic fresh start. Did Brian see this as an opportunity to escape his current life and reinvent himself? The disappearance of Brian Shaffer has left a lasting impact on those who knew and loved him. His father, Randy, tirelessly searched for his son, holding out hope for his return until his tragic death in a freak accident in 2008. Brian's brother, Derek, and his girlfriend, Alexis, have also been deeply affected, struggling with the lack of closure and the many unanswered questions. Brian's case has become a symbol of the pain and uncertainty faced by families of missing persons. It highlights the challenges of investigating disappearances and the emotional toll on loved ones left behind. As we wrap up this deep dive into the mysterious disappearance of Brian Shaffer, we are left with more questions than answers. Despite extensive investigations and countless theories, Brian's fate remains unknown. His case serves as a reminder of the fragility of life and the enduring mystery of human disappearance. What do you think happened to Brian Shaffer? Was it an accident, foul play, or a voluntary disappearance? Share your thoughts and theories in the comments below. And remember, if you have any information that could help solve this case, contact the authorities. Let's keep the conversation going and hope that one day we can uncover the truth behind this haunting mystery. The Vanishing of Maura Murray. This story is filled with mysterious events, unanswered questions, and theories that range from the plausible to the bizarre. Get ready as we take a deep dive into the roadside mystery of Maura Murray. Maura Murray was a 21-year-old nursing student at the University of Massachusetts Amherst. Born on May 4, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, Maura was known for her intelligence, athletic ability, and determination. She had a bright future ahead of her with aspirations of becoming a nurse. However, her life took a mysterious turn in February 2004. Maura came from a close-knit family, including her father Fred, her mother Lori, and her siblings Julie, Kathleen, and Kurt. Despite her achievements, Maura's life wasn't without its challenges. She had experienced a few bumps in the road, including a minor incident with the law involving credit card fraud and a recent car accident. Nonetheless, she seemed to be moving forward and focusing on her studies and future career. In the days leading up to her disappearance, Maura's behavior raised some eyebrows. On February 5, 2004, Maura received a phone call while working her campus security job that left her visibly upset. She later admitted to her supervisor that she was going through some personal issues. 2 days later, on February 7th, she met with her father Fred in Amherst, where they spent the day shopping for a new car. That evening, Maura borrowed her father's Mora's car to attend a party, but on her way back, she crashed it into a guardrail. Despite the accident, there were no serious injuries, and Fred rented a car to return to his home. On February 9th, 2004, Mora's actions became even more puzzling. She emailed her professors and work supervisors, informing them of a family emergency and that she would be away for a week. However, no such emergency existed. She then packed her car with clothes, toiletries, and school books and withdrew $280 from an ATM. Mora also purchased a few items, including alcohol, before heading north on Interstate 91. On the evening of February 9th, Maura Murray's car was involved in a single car accident on Route 112 in Woodsville, New Hampshire. Witnesses reported seeing her black Saturn sedan, which had crashed into a snowbank. A nearby resident, who happened to be a school bus driver, stopped to offer assistance. Mora declined help, saying she had already called Aile, which was later found to be untrue. The bus driver left the scene and called the police. When law enforcement arrived approximately 10 minutes later, they found Mora's car locked and abandoned. Inside the vehicle were her personal belongings, including the items she had purchased earlier that day. There was no sign of Mora, and she has not been seen since. The search for Maura Murray began immediately, with police and volunteers combing the area around the crash site. Despite extensive efforts, including ground searches, aerial searches, and interviews with local residents, no trace of Maura was found. The investigation revealed several puzzling clues, but no definitive answers. One of the key pieces of evidence was a rag stuffed into the tailpipe of Maura's car. Some speculated it could indicate foul play, while others believed it was an attempt by Maura to prevent the car from starting, possibly to cover her tracks. Additionally, there were reports of a young woman matching Maura's description walking along the road shortly after the crash, but this lead did not yield any concrete results. Numerous theories have emerged about what might have happened to Maura Murray. Let's explore some of the most compelling possibilities. Some believe that Maura wandered into the woods after the crash and succumbed to the elements. February in New Hampshire is brutally cold, and it's possible that Maura, disoriented and panicked, got lost and was unable to find her way back. However, extensive searches of the surrounding area failed to find any evidence to support this theory. Another possibility is that Maura fell victim to foul play. Perhaps she accepted a ride from a passing motorist with ill intentions, or she encountered someone who posed a threat. Given the remote location of the crash, it's plausible that someone could have taken her without being noticed. However, there has been no evidence of a struggle or any credible suspects identified. A more controversial theory is that Maura chose to disappear voluntarily. Some speculate that she was overwhelmed by personal issues and decided to start a new life. This theory is supported by her actions in the days leading up to her disappearance, such as withdrawing cash, packing her belongings, and fabricating a family emergency. But if Maura did plan her own disappearance, why hasn't she resurfaced or contacted her family in all these years? There are also whispers of potential family involvement. Some theorists suggest that Maura's family, particularly her father Fred, might know more than they've let on. Fred has been very vocal in the search for Maura, but could there be details he's withholding? This theory remains speculative and lacks solid evidence. To gain a fresh perspective on Maura Murray's disappearance, let's consider her state of mind in the days and weeks leading up to the event. Maura was dealing with significant stressors: the recent car accident, academic pressures, and personal issues. Her decision to lie about a family emergency and abruptly leave campus suggests she was seeking an escape from her current situation. Furthermore, Mora's actions on the day of her disappearance, such as withdrawing a specific amount of cash, purchasing alcohol, and packing her car, indicate a level of planning and intent. Was she preparing for a temporary getaway, or did she have a more permanent plan in mind? It's also worth examining Mora's relationships. Were there conflicts or secrets that might have driven her to such drastic measures? Could she have confided in someone who has remained silent all these years? These questions highlight the complexities of Mora's personal life and the potential motives behind her disappearance. The disappearance of Maura Murray has had a profound impact on her family and friends. Her father, Fred, has been relentless in his search for answers, conducting his own investigations and tirelessly advocating for more resources and attention to the case. Maura's siblings and close friends have also struggled with the lack of closure, holding on to hope that she might one day be found. Maura's case has garnered significant media attention and has become a focal point for online sleuths and true crime enthusiasts. Various podcasts, documentaries, and books have explored the case, each offering different perspectives and theories. Despite the extensive coverage, the mystery remains unsolved. As we conclude this deep dive into the vanishing of Maura Murray, we are left with a labyrinth of questions and few definitive answers. What happened to Maura on that fateful night in February 2004? Was it an accident, foul play, or a voluntary disappearance? The truth remains elusive, but the quest for answers continues.
Maura Murray's case serves as a poignant reminder of the pain and uncertainty faced by families of missing persons. It also highlights the importance of never giving up hope and continuing the search for truth, no matter how challenging the journey may be.
What are your thoughts on Maura Murray's disappearance? Do you believe she met with foul play, or did she choose to vanish and start anew?
Share your theories and let's discuss in the comments. And if you have any information that could help solve this case, please contact the authorities.
The enigmatic case of Lars Mittank. This is not just another disappearance, it's a story filled with strange events, eerie footage, and unanswered questions that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about safety and travel. So grab a seat because this is going to be a deep dive into a vacation that never ended. Lars Mittank was a 28-year-old German man with a love for travel and adventure. Born on February 9, 1986, Lars grew up in Wilhelmshaven, Germany, and worked as an engineer at a power plant. Known for his friendly and outgoing nature, Lars enjoyed spending time with his friends and exploring new places. In June 2014, Lars decided to go on a vacation to Varna, Bulgaria, with a group of his friends. This trip was meant to be a fun getaway, but it turned into a nightmare that has left everyone puzzled. Lars and his friends arrived in Varna on June 30th, 2014, and settled into their hotel. They spent their days enjoying the sun, sea, and local nightlife. Everything seemed to be going well until the night of July 6th, 2014, when an altercation at a bar changed the course of events. Lars got into a fight with some local men over a football rivalry. Although the fight didn't seem serious at the time, it resulted in Lars sustaining a minor injury to his ear. The next day, Lars complained of ear pain and went to a local doctor who diagnosed him with a ruptured eardrum and advised him not to fly due to the risk of further damage. His friends, who had already booked their return flights for July 7th, offered to stay with him, but Lars insisted they go ahead as planned. He decided to stay behind for a few more days until he was cleared to fly. After his friends left, Lars checked into the Hotel Color Varna, a budget hotel near the airport. His behavior during this time became increasingly erratic and paranoid. He called his mother, Sandra Mittank, several times, expressing fears for his safety. He told her that he was being followed and that he needed help. His mother advised him to leave the hotel and come back to Germany as soon as possible. On July 8th, Lars visited another doctor who confirmed that his ear was healing and that he could fly home. He purchased a flight ticket for July 9th. However, his strange behavior continued. Lars was seen pacing the halls of the hotel, hiding in elevators, and acting suspiciously. Surveillance footage from the hotel shows him leaving the building in a hurry with his backpack, only to return shortly after. On the morning of July 8th, Lars called his mother again, sounding agitated. He told her that people were after him and that he didn't feel safe. He then left the hotel and took a taxi to Varna Airport. The next series of events were captured on the airport's surveillance cameras and are some of the most chilling and baffling pieces of evidence in this case. At the airport, Lars visited the airport doctor, complaining of ear pain. During the examination, he reportedly became paranoid and agitated, mumbling about not wanting to die. Suddenly, he got up, grabbed his belongings, and ran out of the doctor's office. The surveillance footage shows Lars sprinting out of the airport terminal, leaving his luggage behind. He ran across the parking lot, climbed a fence, and disappeared into the surrounding forest. This was the last confirmed sighting of Lars Mittank. The search for Lars Mittank began immediately, with Bulgarian authorities and volunteers combing the area around the airport and the nearby forest. Despite extensive efforts, no trace of Lars was found. His disappearance was reported to German authorities, and his family traveled to Bulgaria to assist with the search. Lars's case quickly gained international attention, with his family and friends launching social media campaigns and setting up a website dedicated to finding him. Posters with his face were distributed across Europe, and several sightings were reported, but none were confirmed. Numerous theories have emerged about what might have happened to Lars Mittank. Let's explore some of the most compelling possibilities. One theory is that Lars suffered a severe psychological breakdown, possibly induced by the medication he was taking for his ear injury or a pre-existing condition. His erratic behavior and paranoid statements could suggest a state of acute psychosis. In this state, he might have believed he was in immediate danger, prompting him to flee into the forest. If this is the case, it's possible that Lars succumbed to the elements or an accident shortly after disappearing. Another possibility is that Lars was indeed being followed or targeted by someone with malicious intent. The altercation at the bar and his subsequent fear of being pursued could indicate that he was involved in something more sinister than a simple bar fight. However, there is no concrete evidence to support this theory, and it remains speculative. Some speculate that Lars chose to disappear voluntarily, either to escape perceived threats or to start a new life. This theory is supported by his decision to stay behind in Bulgaria and his increasingly erratic behavior. However, it does not explain why he would abandon his belongings and flee into the forest without any apparent plan. A less explored but plausible theory is that Lars's ear injury and subsequent medication caused a severe reaction, leading to his paranoid behavior and flight response. Some medications can have adverse side effects, including hallucinations and extreme anxiety. If Lars was experiencing these symptoms, it could explain his actions on the day of his disappearance. To gain a fresh perspective on Lars Mittank's disappearance, let's consider his state of mind in the days and hours leading up to the event. Lars was dealing with a painful ear injury, was in a foreign country, and had just been involved in a physical altercation. These factors, combined with the stress of being alone and the possibility of adverse medication effects, could have contributed to a severe psychological episode. Lars's repeated calls to his mother, expressing fear and paranoia, indicate that he genuinely believed he was in danger. His decision to run out of the airport terminal, leaving his belongings behind, suggests a desperate attempt to escape an immediate threat, whether real or perceived. It's also important to examine the environment in which Lars disappeared. The area surrounding Varna Airport includes dense forests and rough terrain, making it difficult to navigate, especially for someone in a distressed state. If Lars fled into the forest, he might have quickly become disoriented and unable to find his way back. Lars Mittank's disappearance has had a profound impact on his family and friends. His mother, Sandra Mittank, has been relentless in her search for answers, traveling to Bulgaria multiple times and maintaining a high-profile presence in the media. The uncertainty and lack of closure have taken a heavy emotional toll on his loved ones, who continue to hope for his safe return. Lars's case has also drawn significant attention from the public and true crime communities. Various theories and discussions have circulated online, with many people offering their own interpretations of the available evidence. Despite the widespread interest, the mystery of Lars Mittank's disappearance remains unsolved. As we conclude this deep dive into the enigmatic case of Lars Mittank, we are left with more questions than answers. What happened to Lars on that fateful day in July 2014? Was his disappearance the result of a psychological breakdown, foul play, or a voluntary decision to vanish? The truth remains elusive, but the search for answers continues. Lars Mittank's case serves as a haunting reminder of the fragility of life and the mysterious nature of human disappearance. It also underscores the importance of mental health and the potential dangers of untreated psychological conditions. What are your thoughts on Lars Mittank's disappearance? Do you believe he met with foul play, or did he choose to vanish and start anew? Share your theories and let's discuss in the comments. And if you have any information that could help solve this case, please contact the authorities. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Lars Mittank's mysterious disappearance. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on our latest true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.